Hey boys and girls, here's another how-to video, this one on a Peugeot ATE brake booster. Now if you have an older Peugeot European car, some of the cars, you might find that your brake booster starts to fail. There's not a lot of videos on YouTube about what a failed brake booster sounds like. With mine, I couldn't quite hear it, but what I noticed was that there was a dramatic loss of power because of course the vacuum line also controls the turbo wastegates. So of course if there's any leak in the vacuum, which this unit was leaking, basically you lose all the boost. Your brakes start acting, they work, but they kind of act strangely. They'll either be grabby or hard to push erratically. But so I decided to have a wee poke around. I was able to find and track down a bit of a hissy noise up behind the passenger side wheel well is where you can hear it best. And effectively what happens is this seal right here, which is red here because it's been replaced, this seal right here, which sits inside here, and I'll open this up in a second to show you what's happening, basically starts to fails, which not surprising. It's a 2003 car, so we're 15 plus years old, and this is kind of a wimpy seal. You look at the new one, totally different material, much stronger, more sealing rings down here, consequently harder to put in. But anyway, here we go. This is specifically for this brake booster. There's a couple of other, the same seal is available for some other common boosters out there, but not this particular one. I found this one. I'll leave the information in the comments. It's for an ATE brake booster. That's the ATE part number right there, but ATE won't sell you just the seal. It's not really supposed to be repaired, but it's possible to do it. So here we go. Oh, the other thing is, if you do have a vacuum leak, check this this valve right here, because it often leaks right around in here as well. So fix that up. So this is not a simple job. This part is available. It's really, really hard to put in. Easy to take out because you can just rip it out. This one I was able to get out quite easily. It just popped out because it was without too much damage, but it's quite hard to it's actually quite hard to put in. So what we have here is this piston, which is plastic, which you do not want to scratch, and basically the other thing you'll see is, the other thing that often perishes, or was perished on mine, is this wee air filter up here. I just made one. It's just a circular thing with it's just a circular bit of filter material with a hole in the center for the shaft to fit through. So I just found a bit of old air filter material from an old two-stroke motor I had, cut a oversized circle so it would fit in, cut a very small hole in the middle because you can stretch it over this, and then that fits quite nicely. This boot lifts up easily. That's no issue to take that off. The trick is the seal here. Now the seal fits quite a ways down inside here. You see I haven't got it perfectly in, but near as I can tell, I'm not going to get it any closer, and that seems to be sealing well enough. It is a pain in the ass to put in there. You have no room to work whatsoever. My ultimate way of doing it was I used a cargo strap. I'm doing this video after the fact. I used a cargo strap. I was able to hook, one hook on here, actually both hooks on there because you need the extra room for the ratcheting end, and basically bring that cargo strap through here, and then I was able to pull this piston down, put the seal on first, pull this piston down as far as you can, and it'll get you a lot more room to be able to kind of work and get this thing in. There's some silicone grease that comes with the seal. Make sure you use it. Make sure you use it liberally. It's a small tube, but you should be able to get, but use all of it. Don't scrimp on that grease. And if you do run out, make sure you get silicone grease. It's really important to do that. So that's how it is. Now I haven't tried this on the car yet. I have no way to check it unless I blank this. This is where the master cylinder sits. There's the rod there that actuates the master cylinder. Vacuum goes in here, so this half is kept at a vacuum. This half is kept at an equivalent vacuum, so of course the diaphragm doesn't move. And then as you start to apply the brake, the very first motion of this basically seals off closes a seal in here, makes sure that there's vacuum on this side, atmospheric pressure on this side, and all of a sudden the atmospheric pressure helps push, helps your brake assist. Now the reason I know this one is working now is because when I push this down, I no longer hear the air seeping here, but I can actually hear the air being replaced, the atmospheric air being replaced through this filter. It's easier to when you don't have this part on and the filter on, you'll actually hear it. Whereas before, the fit was so sloppy that it would just be sucking air all down through here. So that's what you're hearing when the hiss that you're hearing when the item is in the car is you're hearing the vacuum leaking past here. Because of course, for this thing to be sitting in a stationary position, the pressures have to be equalized on both sides. Since there's a vacuum on this side, there has to be a vacuum on this side of the same amount. And then again, like I said, as you initially push the plunger, it closes off the seal. This side becomes atmospheric all of a sudden. This side has a vacuum, and then you now have your power brake assist. So there you have it. All going well. I'll put this boot back on. I'll take the old one. This is a secondhand one I bought because I thought it might be okay, but once I got it, I realized that this seal was just as bad or almost as bad, so I might as well replace it while it's out of the car. So I didn't really gain much there, although I do have a spare one now, and I bought 2 of these seals for the price of the shipping. You might as well grab a couple. It's really easy to screw this up. I'd say get 2 anyway, so in case for some reason that you ruin this one, you've got a spare right there and you don't have to wait. Like I say, it's a much nicer seal than the original. I'm surprised that ATE would put such a piece of crap in such a critical piece of equipment, and you'd think that they would make this critical piece replaceable, because realistically this is about the only thing that's going to fail. Well, there's other things that could fail in here, but this is the most likely thing to fail, as dirt and junk gets on that piston as well. This seal is much tighter here as well, so that little bit of wear that would have occurred on the piston here, and you can on the piston here, which you can feel very subtly, is when it's off. Basically, it seals well enough. So I'm quite confident that this will now work. But if it doesn't, you're never going to see this video anyway, because I'm never going to post it. So that's how it is. So if you have a brake booster that's failing, and again on the Peugeot and probably on many other cars, diesels, the turbo is controlled by the vacuum, and if the vacuum doesn't get past here because it's leaking, then your turbo wastegates don't open at the right time, and the thing acts like a slug. So all going well. This will be the fix, and best of luck.